we're going to implement only for 4-on-4. So bear with me as I get through these. All right, in order to play, you must have a UNCW 1 card. It's the easiest thing we can do. If I play, I have to have my 1 card. If these two play, they have to have their 1 card. So please make sure that everybody has it. 99.9 times out of 100, you don't deal with that. But you may. The teams will not check in at the gazebo. They will check in at that window right there. So this is last year's PowerPoint, but they will check in out there, and the supervisor primarily be responsible for it. 100% no jewelry. The only thing we allow is a medical alert bracelet, and I've yet to see it on this campus. But there's a possibility they can have it. If they do have it, they have to have it taped down with that metal piece showing if they go down, that's going to tell us how to save them. It could be diabetes, it could be a heart condition, it could be whatever. But if it's on their wrist, it's taped down. If it's a necklace, they've got to tape that down. We do not allow any other necklaces for religious reasons, wristbands for religious reasons, earrings, nose rings, or anything like that. If somebody comes with a Band-Aid here, 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 and here, what does that probably mean?
Well, they probably others.
They either may have a cat at home or they got a lot of piercings. And if they're like, yeah, I got scratched, let me see it. Telltale sign. And if they're like, well, get plenty of Band-Aids in my stock, we'll replenish them for you. So if we do have that, they've got to take them out. For the ladies in the room, they're like, this is the most difficult one to take out. Yes, I understand that. That has to come out. It's for your safety and of the safety of the other people around you. If they don't like that answer, send them over there. If they don't like the answer he gives them, they get to come to Danny or I, and we get to say the same thing. Our supervisors should be doing this before they even get out to the fields. They're not going to give out jerseys this year until they see all the jewelry off. But it may slip by, and we will check that. For those of you who worked for me last semester or this semester, how many times have I come out here and go, earring, necklace? That's one of the first things I see. I don't know how and I don't know why, but it is one of the first things I see. Our scorecards that you'll have to take out to the field. This is 1/2 of the scorecard. You flip it over, you get the other half. It's a quarter-size sheet of paper, fits nicely into the pocket that you have on your shirt. The date, time, and field and team should already be filled out. You'll need to put the color in for them. First half score, second half score, final score, sportsmanship rating, and do you have any sportsmanlike conducts? So you throw a flag because somebody spikes the ball, you put their name, you put their number there. You're not going to know their name, but you're going to know their number. Sportsmanship rating is important because half the time when those sheets come in, you don't tell the sportsmanship rating, you've got to turn this card in at the end of the night. This is what we go back to. Please verify when you talk to one team. Your team Andy, your team Danny. Color blue, color white. Verify with them when you do your captain's meeting. You only get 1 timeout per half, so those are listed at the bottom. And then we need your names in these positions. I also put the mercy rule down here for you. Trying to help you out. Don't ignore the code rec one because we're changing our scoring system. So code rec no longer exists for the 37 points. And then you turn these in at the end of the game. As we said, UNCW ID, no jewelry. I hit those a couple times here. The ball they will provide their own ball. If they say we don't have one, guess what? We've got about 45 in this room over here. Tell them to go check them out with our supervisors. We will provide the flag belts. So when you come out there, you set your field up, you bring a thing of flag belts out there with you, set one on one half, set one on the other half. And that's what they use. We'll talk about if they have pockets here in just a second. We play 4-on-4, hence 4-on-4 flag football. But if they have 3, is the minimum they need to start the game. And if they're playing code rec, it's 2-and-1 or 2-and-1 the other way. So they have to have at least 1 of each gender, max of 2 of each gender. The equipment that we have out there, you put a pylon on each corner of the end zone. We'll show that tomorrow or Wednesday, and then we'll show you as we get into practice games. We'll have cones, which are goal, 20, and goal. We only play 40 yards in the playing field, 10 yards in the end zone. Player equipment, the shirts must be under the jerseys, must be tucked in, and if they're wearing our jerseys, they must have sleeves. That's the toughest one for you to enforce because sometimes you don't see it, sometimes you catch it late, then you make them mad. People like him should catch it. But if they don't, put a friendly reminder. Most of the Greek teams will have their own jerseys. We don't care if they have their own jerseys. It's a MRSA and a germ reason why we do this. So that's why we require sleeves. If they're wearing their own cutoff sleeves and their own jersey, fine, that's them. Flag belts, when they wear our flag belts, it's two on the side, one on the butt. If it starts to shift one way or the other, the easiest way is go ahead and turn your flags for me. Because as a male, they have a flag on the front of themselves. What's bad about that? I heard you laugh about that.
It hurt.
It hurt. It hurt real bad. So make sure here and here and one on the butt, because that's the way they're designed to be worn. The braces have no exposed metal. If it's a functional ACL brace, it's hard plastic. Those are legal. And if they have any other sleeves, they're fine. But if they have, for some reason, I haven't seen a medical brace that is all metal or have any metal on it. If it's designed for athletics, we're letting it go. If they do have a towel, maybe they place next to the orange cone, which we have 2 ball spotters. The orange one's the offense, the yellow one's the defense. They're set a yard apart. That's where they put it. So on a dewy day like today could possibly, or a wet day like today, they can go out there and they can dry the ball off and they can snap from that. They're responsible for that. If you're nice enough, pick up one cone, pick up the other, pick up the towel. Put it down, put it down, put it down. But if for some reason that it gets too hectic and you forget about it, it's their responsibility. They cannot tuck that towel into their waistband. Why do you think that they can't?
Because it's like a flag.
It's like a flag. So if they do that and you pull that off and you're like, I got a towel, not the flag. That's why. It's illegal equipment. So, let me turn my volume down just a little bit. So here you see, he lost his flags immediately. If he didn't have one at the snap, that's a problem. See, he's trying to fix him here, and he's like, screw it. That's wrong. If he starts out with flags, he needs to have them on. So, you need to have that on. All right. Flag football, we have a no pockets, belt loops, or exposed drawstrings. So if they want to wear our flags, they have to have shorts without pockets or pants without pockets. A zipper closing it up doesn't count, because what can happen with that zipper? They can open up, and guess what? You got a pocket. So we've implemented a new rule this year that if for some reason you don't have a pair of shorts that don't have pockets, or that have pockets, you can still play this year. However, you can't wear flags. It is now one-hand touch from the shoulder to the knee, with the arms included. So if you have somebody out there that doesn't have flags on, and they come up and they get hit right here, they're down. One hand. If he's not wearing any flag belts and I go like this and I miss, I was close, right? We're putting them down. So if they're within about 6 inches of them, so they go like that and you miss, boop, down. They want to complain? Go buy some shorts that don't have pockets. Because it is much, much tougher to pull flags than it is to tag somebody. Much tougher. Because you only have about 1.5 feet to grab right here versus about 3.5, 4 foot, depending on the size. So that's the new rule this year. That is going out a Thursday or Friday to the captains. If you don't have pants or shorts without pockets, don't wear flag belts. Now they can't wear jeans, they can't wear khakis. It still has to be athletic. So what you two are wearing would not be legal. It still has to be athletic attire. If they have sweatshirts or the front pocket is exposed, the sweatshirt, the hood has to be in regardless. So you have to roll that hood in, or they have to roll that hood in, regardless of flags or no flags. But if they're wearing a hoodie that has that front pocket, then they don't wear flags. If they just refuse to tuck their shirts in, they don't wear flags. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to play. If they just don't want to listen, they don't wear flags. And then it's easier for them to be tackled. We're downed. No build hats, bandanas with knots, or jewelry. Stocking caps are okay. This is hard and fast. If somebody comes out there with a hat like Bruce is wearing, that's not legal. They have to take the hat off. If they come out there with a bandana that has a knot or tied or strings, it's not legal. If they cut off a sleeve off their shirt and put that on their head, that's fine. Sweatband, that's fine. You laugh, but that's like the most common way to go now. Shoes with metal cleats are prohibited because they're prohibited out here and they're prohibited in flag football. Molded cleats are fine. Metal tipped are not fine. So they all have to be completely rubber or plastic. So if you do see them, tell them they got to go change. You don't have to be like soccer and go cleat check. We're not doing that. We don't do that. But if you do notice them, make them take them off. Coin toss. This is how we start a game. Yes, the visiting captain to call heads, tails, odd or even. How do you do it?
Do odd or even.
Odd or even. Same thing. How do you do your normal captain? You stand up and tell me how you do normal captain's meeting. Come on, I know. I wouldn't put you on the spot if I didn't trust you.
That's a bad idea.
So, all right. What's your name?
Drake.
Drake and I are your captains.
Right. I have the gentleman shake hands, and then if there's anything new, I go over it. So I'll say, if you don't want to tuck in your shirt, or if you want to wear something with pockets, we're going to do one hand touch. Flag belts drop, we do one hand touch. If it's co-rec, you said we're not doing that.
We have co-rec. It's just we've changed the scoring on co-rec.
Oh, then I just mentioned we'll say open or close for co-rec. Keep shirts tucked in, jewelry off. I want a clean game, you know. And then I'll do visitor team. I'm going to say odd or even.
Even.
So it was odd. So
Odd, but you put 2 fingers up. So why do you face him and show me the number?
I do it so he can see. If you're with Laura, she'll show.
Yeah. So what you do is you put your number behind your back. So if she does have 1 and you say 2 and she puts 2, then I know that she cheated for you. Then I request no. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's just to prove that I'm not trying to cheat somebody. And then what are his options if he wins?
Okay, so if you win, you can either choose the side, choose ball, or defer, but I always say defer or choose the ball because some people will say they want defense, thinking they get the ball second half, but then they don't, and then they get mad at you when it's their own fault and they should have put the rule.
You're absolutely right. Thank you. So she did it right. Explain the new rules. One of the new rules is in a co-rec game, all touchdowns are 6 points. So it's not 6 and 9 like it was in 7-on-7. So if a female scores a touchdown, it's automatically 6. It's not 9 like it was before. The other reason, odd or even, let them have the choice. If they say, I want to play defense, you're deferring your option. Don't let them screw this up. You're going to defer your option. Then you look at the other captain and say you want the ball. And they're like, no, we want the ball in the second half. No. It gets into a whole confusing. You deferred, you want the ball, which side of the field? So if they want to play defense or pick the side of the field, they deferred their option. And then the only option left for the other captain is the ball. Because in the second half, you look at this captain and say, you want the ball. And they're like, no, we want to go that way. And then you're going to be on defense. You want the ball, don't give them any other option. Where do you want them to start? So if they say side of the field, defense, that means they deferred. They really only have 2 options. Defer or the ball. Because if they defer their option, you want the ball, side of the field. I want the ball, side of the field. In the second half, I come out, you deferred your option, you want the ball. Yes, sir. Where do you want them to start? It's the only options I give them. It's as simple as it is. If they're like, we want to go that way, no you don't. Which way do you want them to go? Believe me, you'll get all kinds of crazy stuff. The ball starts on the 10-yard line every time after a score or a touchback. We play on a 60-yard long field and 30 wide. It actually may be 40, so we might be playing a wider field. But if we do get it down to 30 is what I want, that's what we can do. You have 2 10-yard end zones, so those haven't changed from 7-on-7 or high school, college, the NFL. They're all the same. And then 2 20-yard zones. So we go goal, 20, goal. It's a faster paced game. It's a more higher scoring game. And then we snap it from the 10-yard line. You have 3 downs instead of 4 to get a first down. There's another difference. Remember, you get 4. 4 is like this. You only get 3 this time. There's no kicking, no punts. So if you're stuck on the 1-yard line, you have to get to the 20. You have 19 yards to go. Guess what? You got to go for it. Hopefully you can pick up some yardage. If the team doesn't convert, The other team, you turn it over right at the spot. So there's the diagram. We talked about the pylons, goal line, one in the back, goal line, or end line, goal line. Timing, we're 14-minute halves. We will provide the clocks for you. They will be set at 14 minutes. So as soon as that ball is legally snapped, you start it. It runs that entire first half for 14 minutes. It does not stop unless you have an official's timeout, somebody gets hurt, or they call timeout. So really where you'll feel the pressure is when you're under a minute and they're trying to score again. They're going to push you. We'll talk about setting your pace of play. And you will do that. You will take your pace of play. They get one timeout per half. They do not carry over like every other set of football we have. It's use it or lose it. And the overtime, I'll talk about that in a second. The tries are at the 3. The 20's at the 3, or 3-point is at the 20. We need to change that slide. And the mercy rule is 28 points or more with 1 minute. That basically is 4 scores in a minute. The clock will stop in the second half under 1 minute. So in 4-on-4 or 7-on-7 it was the last 2. Here it's the last 1. And then we do timing rules according to high school, where they're similar to college with some differences. We'll talk about this more when we do penalty enforcement, but these are the most, remember to whistle. Remember, the minor clock stoppers. When we say minor, that means the clock will start on the ready for play. And that's first downs or penalty enforcements that end in bounds. If you have any of the major clock stoppers over here, out of bounds, incomplete pass, touchdown, timeout, somebody goes out of bounds, those all start on the snap. And we'll communicate that and we'll talk about how those work in the next 2 days. Extending a period, so if we end the half on a, do you have a question?
Yeah, I had a question about the major clock stoppers. Well, never mind, I just read it, penalties on the minor. Keep going.
Penalty, the reason penalties, but if you have, like, let's say you have a holding during the run and somebody runs out of bounds, it then gets trumped. The only time it affects the penalties if it ends in bounds.
All right, and then if the penalties on the defense, like say it was a pass interference play, like in the last 30 seconds or something, and they still, like, will the clock keep running?
So if we have a penalty, holding, pass interference, we stop the clock in the last minute to enforce the penalty. So let's say you have your pass interference call and the pass was completed.
Yeah, and then it just started on the whistle.
It would start on the ready. Now, if they run out of bounds, a major clock stopper. And we'll talk about that tomorrow on penalty enforcement. Basically, if you have any one of these right here, I'm going to ignore these two, but any of these, we're always going to start on the snap. Really, the first down is what's going to start on the ready. So and it has to end in bounds. That's the biggest thing. And you need to communicate that with everybody on the field. And we'll show you that as we go along. So that's a great question. Extend a period if you have an accepted live ball penalty, meaning you extend the half if there's a holding call and they accept it. If they decline a penalty, you go to halftime. If there's a loss of down penalty and they accept it, they're done. We go to halftime. If there are 2 offsetting penalties, meaning one on the offense, one on the defense, we replay the down. There's no choice. And if there's a touchdown, we do the try. Hopefully there's no inadvertent whistles, but if you have an inadvertent whistle, they either get the result of the play or they get to replay it. If the result of the play is in bounds, they're like, we don't take the result of the play, then the halftime half happens. But inadvertent whistle, you go back to the previous spot. Correct rules. Open and close plays. So, Incorrect. We have plays that are open, meaning anybody can catch this pass. Or we have closed plays, meaning a female has to be involved somehow, which means she either must throw the ball or she must receive the ball beyond the line of scrimmage. A male-to-male completion closes a play, and we'll talk a lot more about this in penalty enforcement as well as when we're doing stations. So every series starts open. So every series from the 10 starts as an open play. If they turn the ball over, it's a new series. It starts as an open play. So if I'm the quarterback, I can throw it to anybody. If I throw it to Danny, the next play is closed. If I stink and I throw it to Danny and it one-hops him and it's an incomplete pass, the play is still open because we haven't met the male-to-male completion. For an open play, a female either has to throw the ball or she has to receive it. So for us, in this game, there's no rushing on 4-on-4. You have 5 seconds to throw the ball, and they have to throw it in those 5 seconds. So if I'm the quarterback, I've got to hit a female on my team, and the male is pretty much irrelevant running around out there. But if I do a quick pitch forward, Luke catches it beyond the line of scrimmage, now I can do anything from that point. She can throw it backwards to me and I can run. But she can't throw another legal forward pass. So to open a play, you must have a legal forward pass and a female involved. And that legal forward pass must be caught beyond the line of scrimmage, and we'll show you how you do that here in just a second. All right, so are we thoroughly confused yet? A little bit? All right, so we're going to break into crews, and this is where your interactive portion is going to go. Did you put these on the home page?
It's under crews.
All right, so to log on here, it is, you can turn me off. What you define were hopefully these definitions right here, right? Pretty much. All right, so team and player designations, offense, defense. I hope that's pretty obvious. Offense is snapping the ball. Defense is the one trying to defend the pass. What's a runner? This is where your part comes in to interact with me.
When you don't pass the ball, you just grab or get down.
Yeah. So in our case here, there's always got to be a forward pass because the quarterback cannot cross the line of scrimmage. So whoever's the quarterback has 5 seconds to throw the ball. So in this case, if I throw the ball, when do you become a runner?
When you're receiving.
What?
As soon as the ball is tossed or on the whistle.
When do you become a runner? What'd you say? As soon as you catch and possess the ball on the ground. That's when you become a runner. So this becomes when we enforce penalties. Is it from the end of the run? Is it from the previous spot? That's when that comes into play. So, passer is the person throwing the ball. I hope that's quite obvious. Substitute, team A, team B. Substitute is anybody comes into the game. Team A is on offense to begin the play. Team B is the defense. So here, you can see our official counting. You notice he's behind the puck. So Caleb here, who's was one of our better officials a couple years ago, he goes up, he moves the puck. So our referee is on the line. And we'll talk about positioning here in just a minute. He's chopped in, and he jogs on back. But he's watching the line, he's visibly counting. You can see him count 1, 2. When he gets to 5 and that ball is still in that quarterback's hand, blow the whistle. You lost your down. So if it was first down, we get a second. Second goes to third. Third becomes a turnover. So he also says balls away to make sure everybody knows. For some reason, they don't throw the ball. Boop. Here we go. Second down. So a live ball and dead ball. The ball becomes live when it's snapped and remains live until the down ends. How can a down end? Incomplete pass. Out of bounds. Flags pulled. There's like 1 or 2 more.
One hand touch it.
Same thing as a flagpole. When we say flagpole, we'll lump all that together, the one-hand touch. What? The play doesn't end on a penalty because if you get held and I throw the flag and you run for a touchdown, do you want me to end the play when you get held? No, you want the touchdown, right? The other one's a touchdown. You score a touchdown, the play ends. Or, hopefully this doesn't happen, you blow an inadvertent whistle. If you blow an inadvertent whistle, the play's dead. Because what we don't want is that runner to take off, you blow a whistle, and the defensive player stops. Now you create an advantage. So we do just I screwed up. Own it. I've done it. I know he's done it. I did it in basketball, of all things. Kid goes up to shoot it, gets knocked out, and I was like, boop. Yep, that was wrong. Put it back on the baseline. I'm going to say Danny's done it, but I don't know that 100%. Danny, have you blown an inadvertent whistle?
I have.
Good.
Got a touchdown call back that I caught and ran for 60 yards because of an inadvertent whistle.
So he's a little bitter about inadvertent whistle. So if he plays, don't blow your whistle when he plays.
It was a great spin move on the kid, and then I blew the whistle because it got out of his down. I was so mad.
Mine was, girl runs into a couple of players, and I'm like, boop, and there she goes. I was like, son of a gun.
Same here, but mine was in like the last 2 minutes.
Now you feel even worse, don't you?
Yeah.
So if you do have that inadvertent whistle, what are their options? If you have an inadvertent whistle?
Replay it or take it from where the whistle was.
So you can replay the down, or you take it from the spot where your whistle was blown and it's the next down. So if it was third down and you blow it short of the line to gain, they're going to replay that down because they're not going to turn it over. If the ball's in the air and you blow an inadvertent whistle, you have to replay it. You can't. There is no end to that one. We just talked about all that. All right, a player's out of bounds. Our play ends. We talked about all these. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, the other one was if the backwards pass hits the ground. I hope to God they don't have crappy snaps. Because if they snap it backwards and it hits the ground, guess what? You're going to pick up the puck and you're going to bring it back. That's where it is. Why do we kill the play when the ball hits the ground? You're not wearing pads, you're not wearing helmets. We don't want people to dive on the ground. So if we go to pitch that ball backwards and we just suck at catching the ball and it hits the ground, it's dead. It's just simple. Boop, ball's right here. It's just like somebody getting their flags pulled with a one-hand touch. All right, so here's the way a play can end. Incomplete pass. Nothing there. Good sportsmanship. That's pretty good. But legal snap. They start counting. Nothing there. So that's how play ends one time. Another one. Do you see? Watch this. He'll intercept the ball. Do we see that touch right there? See how good I am. We'll let it play one more time. Oh, come on. That doesn't want to play. All right, well, unfortunately, my technology isn't as good as it once was. But as soon as he steps out, he's out of bounds. The play ends. Again, good count. He throws the ball. Play's dead right here. The official does a good job of coming up, besides having their flag in their pocket the wrong way. We'll show you how to put it in the right way. We come up, we move the pucks like we're supposed to. Caleb does a good job by slowing down and setting the ball. Yeah, there's going to be some time moving the pucks. That's fine. There the play ends. If he runs another 15 yards after his flags are pulled, does it matter? No. As soon as they're down, they're down. When you watch TV on Saturdays and Sundays, they hit the ground, and if on Sundays they're touched, they're down, they get up and they start running. The play's over because they were down right here. We do a good job of making sure the flags are pulled first. There's a lot going on in this one. This is a 7-on-7 game, but the same concept. What did she do? Here's your inadvertent whistle. You'd be lucky I don't get these on tape all that often. But we watch here, this guy catches the ball, flags are still on, and she blows her whistle. He took about another 8 steps, and she was like, yeah, I made a mistake. It happens. I said it happened to the 3 of us, it's happened to a few of you, and if it hasn't yet, it probably will. It's okay. Just own up to it and make sure we get it down. All right. So, what's the neutral zone? We had you define it. I know it's up here. Give me your definition of the neutral zone.
The area between the 2 lanes that neither team can cross until it's snapped.
You made a good point of saying neither team can cross. Now, if the defense is lined up in the neutral zone, what are you going to try to do?
Tell them to get out.
Tell them to get out. The other thing here is they can't rush. You have 5 seconds to throw the ball. The quarterback can't cross the line, so basically playing 3-on-4 on the other side. So if the defense wants to be up here ready to go, why, I don't know. But that's fine. If the quarterback gets close and they want to try to block it, that's fine. Just don't let them in the neutral zone. What if the offense is in the neutral zone?
Trying to tell them to get out to the ball snap.
How do you do that?
Yell at the player, tell them to back up.
Far receiver, take a step back. Something like that. Let them know. It's going to be loud out here. You're going to have 2 games of flag football, 3 club practices, softball, and whatever else we tried to put out there. It's going to be pretty chaotic. Be loud. Use your voice. You're helping out the teams. That's what we want to make sure we do. At the snap must be one continuous motion. Again, nobody's rushing, so it's not like they're trying to block anybody. We took out the entire backfield. They don't have to worry about anything. The player receiving the snap must be at least 2 yards back. We can't go under center. 2 yards is basically from me to you away. Or a little bit bigger than this. If they're a little close, tell them to back up. Only one offensive player may be in motion at the time of the snap, and they cannot be going towards the line of scrimmage. If they want to send somebody in motion, by all means go in motion. But they can't get a running start. This isn't arena football. We can't get the running start, which would probably be fun if we were able to do that. Put that in for a rule change next year. All players must be 5 yards from the sideline. I'm not worried about that. Passing. Each down must have a forward pass. It's 4-on-4. It's a passing league. There are no runs in this one. The reason we defined a runner is for after the catch. Must be behind the line of scrimmage and is thrown before change of possession. The A receiver must touch the ball beyond the scrimmage line. So, if Drake, right? He snaps me the ball. Right here's my puck on this line. He snaps me the ball and I'm like, quick pass, and I throw him the ball and he doesn't make it beyond the line of scrimmage before he catches it. It's a penalty. We drop our flag, we let that play happen. It's a legal advancement. Why don't we kill that play right then and there? For my other flag football officials, why wouldn't we kill that play? What could happen?
If the other team ever has a chance to gain from it, then we don't kill it.
Yeah, if I throw a backwards pass or a backwards pitch and that gets intercepted, they're going to decline that penalty because they get the ball. So we let that play happen. We'll talk tomorrow, Danny will, about how we kill plays or which plays we kill. But we let that one happen because it happened after the snap or simultaneously with the snap. We let it go. So we just drop the flag. Once the ball is thrown, it's considered a pass till it's caught. The team has 5 seconds to release the ball on a forward pass. Again, you see the referee go 1, 2. I don't care if you start at 5 and count down. I don't care if you start at 1 and count up. But make sure whenever you get to 5 or you finish 1, boop, that's 5. Ball's dead. Now, if you're like 5 and it goes, let it go. But if you're like 5 and they're just like, then they pass it, that's dead. Sometimes if nobody's open, they'll just take the down. Sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't. You'll sound your whistle so if the passer's still in possession. If you're like 5 and they go, boop, and you hit your whistle, kill it, boop, 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 they were down. Ball's still in the hand. Because what I don't want you to do is like 4, 5, boop, give it a second to get up there. And if you're half a second late, you're half a second late. That's fine. And they'll touch on this when they do referee tomorrow. Passing. Anybody's eligible to catch a pass besides the quarterback because he or she is throwing the ball. But any player can catch a pass. Player goes out of bounds and returns. It is illegal participation. So if I just run out of bounds to go around you, I cannot participate anymore. If I go run and he pushes me out of bounds, it's illegal contact on him, and I'm still eligible to catch the pass. But if he forces me out, it's a penalty on him. This isn't like college, high school, college, and the NFL where they can bump each other and push somebody out of bounds. If there's contact, there's going to probably be a penalty. A team may throw as many backwards passes or pitches as they want to from anywhere on the field, but they can only have one legal forward pass, and it's got to be within the 5 seconds. And no defensive player may cross the neutral zone until the pass is released. And we said the penalty is illegal advancement. Now, we have changed penalties from 5 yards to 3 and 10 yards to 5. So if you worked for me in the fall, any 5-yard penalty is 3, and then any 10-yard penalty is going to be 5. So any contact, conduct, or participation is going to be 5. Everything else is 3. Any non-contact, non-conduct is 3. So that's the major differences. Legal catch. Define what a catch is. I know we talked about it a little bit, but how do we define catch? Yeah.
Having control of the ball, getting all the way to the ground, and 1 foot in bounds.
So possession with 1 foot in bounds. And if for some reason you go to the ground, that ball pops out, it's an incomplete pass. But yeah, that's what it is. If it is caught simultaneously by an offensive and defensive player, it's dead, belongs to the offense. And after an incomplete pass, we go back to the orange ball spotter and we snap from there. So here we go. Catch, backwards pitch, which is legal, and away we go. Don't do this from that far away. So this is fine. He releases the ball from behind the line of scrimmage. It's legally caught, legally pitched backwards. If you have a 4-on-4 team, that's a great play. You want to incorporate that. So wherever my referee is downfield here, I believe that is, will have the goal line. He should slide a little bit, and then he'll go pick up the pucks. But that's how we handle that situation. Running. We hit on what a runner is. Basically, after you possess the ball with 1 foot in bounds, you're now a runner. Why is this important to know if it's a pass play or a running play? Penalty enforcement. Because on a pass play, we go back to the previous spot. On a run play, we go from the spot of the foul or the end of the run. So that's why it's important. Was it after a catch or was it before the catch? That's what you need to know every time you throw your flag. The ball may be handed in any direction. So if I'm running and you're faster than I am, I can hand it off forward. I can hand it off backwards or off to the side. Last year, you heard the official say open. We have a female quarterback. Throws it, incomplete. It is an incomplete pass, so the play still remains open. If it's an incomplete pass, the play still remains closed. We don't change it unless those 3 criteria were met. So an open play again. This is probably the same play. So, all right.
Second down, goal line to game, play is closed.
Here, this is a 7-on-7 game. Ignore the illegal motions there.
Second down, goal line to game, play is closed.
But here what you hear Jackson saying is down and distance, open and closed. And then he hits his ready for play. That's what you can do every time. If you don't have open and closed, first down, 20 to gain, hit the ready for play. Third down, goal line to gain, hit the ready for play. Open and closed, open play, close play. So. Overtime. Bear with me. What time is it right now?
7:55.
All right, I probably got about half hour, not even quite a half hour's worth of information left, so bear with me. Visiting team will call the coin toss. So, if you come back up to us, you give him the option again. He wins the toss. This time he gets offense, defense, or side of the field. It's just like college, with a few exceptions. He now wants to pick defense because he wants to be on offense last. That's fine. I want defense, I got to pick the side of the field. If you pick offense, then I pick the side of the field. There is no defer in overtime. They'll be like, I want defense, and you can defer your option. No, no, no. You want defense, you want side of the field. Or you want offense, you want the side of the field. It doesn't matter. For some reason, they have a huge crowd and they want to be down at this end. Usually that never matters. You'll play to the same goal on all overtimes. So if they say we want to play at this end, we play everything at this end. And we just flip offense and defense until we get a winner. There's one timeout for the entire overtime period. So if I play 4 overtimes, I only get 1 timeout for all 4. So if I use it in the first overtime, I don't get it in the second. I don't get it in the third. I don't get it in the fourth. If you're into 4 overtimes, start reevaluating why you're officiating. No, I'm just kidding. But each team will alternate attempts of... Is this how we do overtime in 4-on-4? All right, so it must be consistent because Brian taught it last year. You do a try for 1. If they both succeed, go for a try for 2. If they succeed, you go to 3 until we have a winner. If it is still tied, repeat until the tie is broken. And alternate who goes first. So it's try from 1, try from 2, try from 3. That's how we're going to do. That's how we do overtime. It's not go from the 10 and do an extra point. It's 1-point try, 2-point try, 3-point try.
And they choose which one they want to go for. So like, I come and say I want to do 1, you want to go for 2 after I go for my 1.
No. Each one has the same opportunity. We'll clarify that. All right, sportsmanship. I probably have about 20 minutes information. This is one of my favorite topics to talk about, mainly because I could tell you some of the war stories that we've had. Sportsmanship is 1 through 5. 1 being your complete crapheads, 5 your perfect little angels. You get to rate your peers. So, up here, it's in words. Most people fall in the 3 to 4 category. If you have a 5, that means they were great. They shook each other's hands. They got the ball. They told you which penalties that you weren't calling that you need to look out for. They said thank you after the game. They high-fived you. That's 5. 4 is they didn't argue much. They were nice. 3 is they argued some. You may have given an unsportsmanlike. 2 is somebody got ejected. Somebody else got an unsportsmanlike. 2 unsportsmanlikes. You called the captains together. 1 is somebody punched somebody in the face. You should hover between these 2, because most people in 4-on-4 aren't bad. More than likely this one. But if you do have a 2 or you do have a 1, you need to document it. And that's when you get Mr. Kingston and say, I ejected somebody, we need to write it up. Or somebody's getting a 2 sportsmanship rating and here's why. Because if we don't know why you gave a 2 sportsmanship rating, we give them a 3. Because they need a 3 average to make the playoffs. So if you do have somebody who's ejected, they typically start right here. If you're my only bonehead on the field and I threw you out, you're right here. If you're my bonehead on the field and you're the other bonehead, you go to here. If you're throwing 2, 3, 4 people out, hopefully he knows before that. But typically 3 and 4 is where we live. 4-on-4 is a little more tame than what 7-on-7 is. But occasionally you'll hover here. Keys to handling conflict. Those of you that work for me, these slides haven't changed since like the 2nd year I've been here. And they've been fairly effective. So the biggest thing is to know what they're upset about. How many times have you handled somebody being stupid? Just about every game. They don't know the rules to 4-on-4. They don't know the rules, and I changed the rules on 4-on-4, so they're really not going to know the rules for 4-on-4. So know what they're upset about. That sucks. That's bad. That's a bad call. Are they attacking you personally? No. They're attacking your calls. You suck. You're horrible. Completely different. You suck. You got to go. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You're terrible. See you. You eject them, they get to come tell me why they thought you were terrible. Then I can either confirm that you're terrible or I'm like, they're not really that bad. Because in no other job can you come into somebody's job and say, you suck. Maybe if you're a telemarketer, but other than that. We don't do that. If they drop the F-bomb, you're effing terrible, ooh, you're going really quick. That effing sucks. That's a effing horrible call. Probably toss them for that. Now, if you thought it was a terrible call, give them unsportsmanlike and be like, watch the language. And we talk to them about it. So you're horrible. Are you effing kidding me? I got to take all ball, don't lie. Or if they bait the opponent. They turn around and they high step into the end zone and hold the ball back to watch you. And they somersault or backflip into the end zone. Score the touchdown, eject them. Taunting and baiting an opponent. Breaking up a pass and flexing over somebody. I haven't seen that one yet, but that's one you could possibly have. Ejection. Or what? Oh, sorry. All right, so steps in handling conflict. For those of you that work for me, have you used any of these? You've got the quiet word, which means you swear. Hey, watch it. Or they're getting a little excited. Hey, will you help me out with number 12? Just tell them to calm down a little bit. Public warning, that's enough. Lets everybody know that I've had enough with them. A captain's meeting, I put it in there. I don't like the use of the captain's meeting, but I put it in there because it has been effective. You bring the two captains together early. Hey, it's getting a little rough on your side, starting to get a little chippy. We're done talking to you. The next thing that's coming out is an unsportsmanlike conduct. Let your teammates know. You do this in the second half, it's not very effective. You do it right away, it's pretty effective. Technical foul, which is actually an unsportsmanlike conduct because Chris didn't change my slides, or an ejection. That's your steps in handling conflict. For the 3 or 4 that have worked for me, have you found that to be somewhat effective?
Yeah, usually one unsportsmanlike. Most of the teams are going to calm down as it is, but I mean, if you have to throw 2 or 3, there's a good chance that there was nothing that can stop them from making it.
I can tell you use a lot of this. Used a lot of it in officiating basketball this year. Go up to somebody. Hey, I know you're upset about the last call. Here's why I called it. Work with me. Keep your emotions under check. Or use a teammate. Hey, he's getting really excited, and here's why I made that call. Read that for me. Because now you have somebody that helps you out. What you don't want to do is go off the deep end on this. If you miss a call, don't be afraid to miss a call. Have anybody ever admitted they may have missed a call?
Yeah.
How did it work? How did it turn out for you?
I mean, obviously one team was pissed about it, but I mean, I went back and talked to them like after and told them and missed the call. They were fine.
They didn't say anything. You ever admit to somebody you screwed up, like, my bad? I did this, my best example is from about my 3rd year in college. Some dude goes up, getting ready to dunk the ball in basketball, and this dude just throws it the other way. He just goes up and smacks this ball out of this kid's hand. Here comes Andy. Oh, bitch, he blocked the shit out of that. Walk to the table, report my foul. The kid is on my butt the entire way. I got that guy. My bad. That's all I said to him. I turned around and looked at the kid and went, my bad. He looked at me and went, he walked away. He knew I missed it. I knew I missed it. Because I was like, report the foul. And I was like, son of a, I missed it. That's all I said. My bad, I missed it. No problem. Use that once or twice and not to the same team. I've done that before to a coach. And I showed a play in basketball. This kid traveled all day long. And I was about from me away, and I was looking at the defender. And this kid takes 4 steps and goes. And I was like, he did something stupid, but I wasn't looking at him. I went up to the coach. Coach is on my butt. I said, Coach, I was looking at the defensive player. I did not see that kid travel. He looked at me and it was like, okay. Be able to explain your calls. If you can communicate with players, if you can communicate with people that are on the sideline, it makes your game a whole lot easier. If you can talk about the play. If they're like, they're holding us, which number? They're all holding us. Well, they ain't all holding you. Hey, watch for the contact from number 12. Hey, thank you, I appreciate it, I'll watch for it. Because what are they telling you?
The stuff you're missing.
They're telling you that people are doing something wrong and that's who's going to commit the foul. Because I may be watching this matchup when this matchup is doing something wrong. So just listen to them. All right, I'll take a look at it. I appreciate it. Hey, they're feeding you the information. Don't ever make threats, because what happens when you say one more word, you're gone. They're going to say one word and you're like, oh, there's my line. If you cross it, I'm going to have to do something about it. So don't make threats. I've heard you. That's enough. I use this. This is my friend right here. I've heard you. What does this show like? What does this look like? Hey, hey, I got you. It's also, if you ever watch a film of yourself, which we'll film you because obviously you can see that, I see this as visual. If I'm like, would you just shut up? Or, hey, I heard you, and you're like, this now gives me a visual. This also tells your teammates, I'm talking to them. Excuse me. So, this gives you a visual. I worked several games in basketball this year. This is my friend. Coach, I got you. Or if I go up to somebody, all right, I've heard you. I do it down here. Don't be like, stop. What happens when you do this?
You get mad.
They get really mad because I put a hand in your face. Hey, I've heard you. I keep it low. Hey, I've heard you. I'll take a look at it. Thanks for telling me. But don't make threats, because if you make threats, they're gonna toe that line and they're gonna see where you are. And as soon as you don't throw that flag, you just erase that line in the sand. We're like, all right, we'll back up a little bit. Draw a new line. They're gonna toe that line. You're gonna back up some more, and all of a sudden you're against the wall and you're like, what do I got to do? So I would say make that line in concrete, not sand. Did they cross your line? Or your moral compass on your language barrier? F you, all right, see you later. That's bullshit. You may take it, you may not. Bam, there's a flag. But be consistent on it. The other thing is, I say proximity on throwing flags. Will you stand up for me? Again, this is one of my favorite. Come right here. For those of you that don't work for me, if I throw an unsportsmanlike conduct flag and I do it right here, what is he liable to do? He's liable to punch me, right? Or push me or do something stupid. How tall are you?
About 6 foot.
About 6 foot. 5'8" me ain't getting out of the way quick enough. Now if I throw a flag, what does he got to do? You've got to come at me. So now he's going to get a running start and maybe I can duck and miss, or he's going to get a really good punch. And one of the two is going to happen. But if I back up and I throw that flag, thank you. If I back up and I'm not within arm's reach, I take a step back, blow the whistle, throw my flag and get away from him. Now he's got to come at, or she's got to come at me. Because if I'm like, oh hell no, and I throw that flag and I walk towards him, now I've attacked him. Or he gets a better punch on me. One of the two is going to happen. The punch hasn't happened, so please don't be my first. But then it looks like I'm attacking you. If they want to talk, they'll come to you. Give them this so people can see it. And don't be like, hey, and go at them. It's better for them to come to you because now it looks like they're initiating it. I tell the horror stories. I've only seen 2 fights in my life, and none of them been on UNCW's campus because people here are a little bit nicer than they were in Ohio and Kentucky. But it does happen. So just be aware of it. It won't happen in 4-on-4 flag, so don't be my first. But when you do throw a flag, they're mad at you. Throw it. If they catch it, congratulations, you caught my flag. Who was in the NFL that took the flag and threw it in the...
Marcus Peters.
Yeah. They throw your flag, by all means, see you later. Don't throw another one because then it just gives them more ammunition. Just give them one, they throw your flag, see you later. But just walk away and go tell your partner what you have. We always have a rule whenever we work that if I'm going to throw a coach out, or if I'm going to give, after I give a technical, I'm going to tell him what I have, or him, or her, or whatever, whoever your partner is. Walk up. Blue 32 said F you. That's an unsportsmanlike conduct in my book. All right. Blue 32 said, you're effing horrible. They're gone. All right. Now you will go over to her and say, you've been ejected from the game for your language. If she doesn't want to go, you go to him, because you have to tell him, and you have to fill out that report. Any ejection has to have a report. Questions on handling conflict? All right, bear with me. We're almost done here.
Do you want to do tiebreaker real quick? Hi, it's tiebreaker. So every time we ask they do the coin toss, and they get the option of offense, defense, or choose side of the field. After they've done that, each team is allowed a series of 4 downs to score from the 10-yard line. They either score a touchdown.
4 downs or 3?
4. Four rules are wrong. Either score a touchdown, attempt a point after attempt, so the 1, 2, or 3 point after attempt, or if the ball is intercepted, the play is then immediately dead. So if they get an interception on while they're driving and they're 4 downs, the play is dead.
It's going to be 3 downs because it's 3 everywhere else, so it's 3 downs.
Okay, so 3 downs, and then, or they run out of 3 downs, they get 3 downs and it's turnover on downs, so.
All right, so the overtime is 3 downs from the 10, and they can go for any point value. If you enter the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th overtime, it's still any point value. So it's just like 7-on-7, except you only get 3 downs to score. We're going to keep that consistent with ours. I'm glad you looked that up. All right, 2-person mechanics because, well, we don't have enough to do 3, so we're going to go over 2-person mechanics. All right, so your referee, we're starting on the 10. Ignore this. We're starting on the 10. Your referee is on the line. His or her responsibilities are making sure it's a legal snap and that everybody's set with maybe one person in motion. That's your pre-snap responsibilities. You got 4 people, you're good to go. Playing with 3, got 3, that's fine. Ball's legally snapped. Most of that's usually easy. You start counting 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. As soon as you get to 1 and that ball's still in the quarterback's hand, you kill it. What you want to do as referee, if this is my line, ball snapped, I'm not too worried about that quarterback going across the line of scrimmage, so I'm going to start to turn. And I'm going to watch him or her out of the corner of my eye as I count. And then I'm going to pick up the matchup that's on my side of the field. If that ball gets thrown down my sideline, I'm going to run down my sideline and I'm going to pick up this play. go down a couple yards and make sure if it's completed, make sure your partner has a spot, go back and pick up the pucks and come. The back judge is about a yard or two in on the opposite sideline. They're counting the other people, making sure they have 4. Those are your pre-snap responsibilities as a back judge. You don't have to worry about the neutral zone, you just worry about these people. Ball's legally snapped, you pick up your side and deep. So you pretty much have like this. So you have anything over here and anything down here. Primarily going to be pass interference or holding calls. And maybe some illegal picks or pass interference. But that's your basic. Here you start on line, here you start about 12 to 15 yards deep. Roughly. That's basic positioning. See the count here? See the other official down? Flag's pulled, this official gets the spot. The referee runs in, jogs down the field, puts his hand up, gets chopped in, puts it down. As he's running back, he's got the down and distance. He'll turn here in just a second. And then he blows his ready for play. Don't blow your ready for play right here. Make sure you're on that sideline. Why would I tell you to be on that sideline?
You can see the sideline.
So, yeah, you can see the sideline. But if I'm still in the middle of players and I'm trying to turn and blow my ready for play and they snap the ball quick, guess where I'm not? I'm not in position. So get in position before you do any of that. If they're in a hurry up offense, pick up your pace. But you're not going to blow your ready for play until you're ready and in position. So just remember that. Here's another one. Quarterback's counting. You can see they come up and get the spot. Referee will jog on in. It was a lot of his stuff because he was a very, very good official. Slows down. He's not in a hurry. The players aren't in a hurry. So make sure you get a nice pace going. If you're the referee, you're going to do a lot of moving. Back judge is going to do a little bit less, but you're still going to do a lot of moving. A couple more here. He backed this guy up, which is fine. You got the count. Touchdown. If we do have a score, we got to make sure we check those flags. Why do we got to check the flags? Make sure they're not tied. Illegally secured flag belts. Basically, they got to clip it. If they're not wearing flags, congratulations, you scored a touchdown. Here we got another one. I believe this is Christie. Moving it. Backing out. That was quick. Was that an illegal snap on that? The snap's got to be one continuous motion, so if she picks it up and then throws it, it's illegal. Nope, that's a good snap. One from the top of the puck. But what I don't want you to do is get in too much of a hurry. So make sure you get a good pace. If you feel like, hey, they're snapping the ball quick, don't hit the ready for play. Wait for my whistle, wait for my whistle, and I know he'll talk about this tomorrow when they do refereeing. These are old school fields, nothing like we have out here. I'd like a little bit more hustle than that, but you get the point there. So she comes up, she moves the pucks. And then he goes on down the field. And he also has the down in his hand, so he's letting everybody know what the down and distance is. So you hear down and distance, and away we go. Goal line positioning. If we're within roughly the 10-yard line or in, the referee's going to have the goal line. And the back judge is going to have the back line. Why do we say the back judge would be back here within 10 yards?
That's as far as they can get.
Because if they have any play in the back, we've got to be able to see that, whereas the referee will have time to move in 1 or 2 seconds to get there. So if we do have this, you're still counting, you're just moving now. 5, 4, I'm at the goal line. 3. Now you got to kind of guess where they threw it from. But so you're peeking back and you're watching your area. So as you can see this is Steven. He moved a little early, that's all right. But he's on the goal line when it happens, so he can see that. This official should be back here. So Steven will be on the goal line, and the other official should have been on the back line. Because right here, they're in no man's land. If you get to this line, you can see the back line, and then Steven will have this line. They're important lines on the field. Questions? What time is it? There you go, I got you out before 8.